morning everyone. I am Fozia Khandwani, working as an assistant professor in Computer Science and Application Department, GS College, Khamgaon. We, the faculty members of Computer Science Department, have organized two-day workshop on cybersecurity and digital forensic in collaboration with the PG Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University, Amravati. Today, that is the second day of our workshop, so I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. V.M. Thakre sir, both the invited speaker, Dr. Urmila Shravankar madam, Dr. Balaji Patil sir. I would also like to welcome our chief pattern, Dr. Subhashji Bobde sir, Dr. Pattern, Dr. T.S. Tarwankar sir, convener Dr. P.E. Ajmera sir, all committee members and all participating faculty members and students. Yesterday, on day 1, we all have learned about cybersecurity and different attacks in cybersecurity, cryptographic algorithms, and many other important concepts. Today, we will be learning about digital forensic in cloud using AutoSpy tools. I hope everyone will enjoy today's session. This session will be engaged by Shravankar madam, and to introduce her, I would like to call Mrs. Namrata Daga madam.
Good morning everyone. Thank you for being here to attend this session. Today we are pleased to welcome Dr. Urmila Shravankar ma'am, a very special guest from Nagpur. Urmila ma'am receives PhD degree in Computer Science and Engineering from SGBU Amravati University. MTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from RTM Nagpur. Her area of interest includes high performance computing, advanced operating system, distributed and parallel computing, cloud computing, real-time computing algorithms, etc. She is the author of 2 books, 6 book chapters, and more than 160 research papers in international journals as conference of high repute includes IEEE, IGI Global, InterScience, Helix, etc. She has published 16 patents, but of these many are under examination. Her biography was selected and published in Mercury Who's Who in the World. She receives International Travel Grant Award from DST, Government of India, to attend and present her research work worldwide. Also awarded UGC Minor Project Grant, she is serving many journals as EDTDL board member and as a member of International Advisory Board. Moreover, she is serving as reviewer for many conference, journal and reputed conferences. She participated in many international conferences worldwide as a core organizing committee members, technical program committee members, special session chairs and session chairs. She has also served a core member of IEEE International Conference for Emerging Trends and Technical Trends, and organizing a member of Elsewhere International Conference on International Security and Privacy. Dr. Ma'am is member of IEEE, ICM, CSI, ISTE, IE, etc. Under her guidance, 49 UGBE projects work, 72 PG, MTech project scholars and 1 ME by research scholar completed their projects, and 3 PhD research scholars are worked. At present, Dr. Urmila ma'am is working as a professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering at G.H. Raisoni College of Engineering, affiliated at RTM Nagpur University, Nagpur. Thank you.
Welcome participants. Today we are going to discuss about the digital forensic for the cloud environment. The digital forensic itself is a very interesting field, and when we are discussing about the cloud environment, that is very challenging, because in the cloud environment resources are shared, and because of the shared resources there is a very big problem of the security, and how to maintain that we are discussing under the digital forensic. First, we are going to discuss about the cloud computing basic, one overview, and after overview of this, we will be discussing about the forensic for the cloud computing. The cloud computing refers to applied the services that run on distributed network using virtualized resources and accessed by the common internet protocol and networking standards. Resources are virtual and limitless. The details of the physical system is abstracted from the user. Cloud investigations have unique challenge. The new standards are being developed to improve the security practices and incident response in the cloud environment. Now, this is the general overview of the history. The cloud computing environment started from 1960. Then, in ARPANET, it is developed in year 1969, and after that 1970 virtualization environment come in the picture. Then cloud computing definition is published in 1997. Then Salesforce is in the picture 1999, and then 2006 onwards Amazon launches the EC2 and the S3 services, that is the simple storage service for the commercial use. And after that, now everyone is using the cloud environment. Now, what are the benefits of the cloud computing? There are lot many benefits are there. Some benefit will see high level computing, because if you are having very limited resources, we cannot perform the computing tasks very effectively. But the cloud environment gives the facility for the shared resources, and because of that, the high level computing is possible. The secure storage and the management is there, location independent. You can access the cloud environment from anywhere, everywhere. Scalability issue is there. If you are having very less requirement, so do not subscribe for that very big requirement. Whenever it is required, you can subscribe that and you can do your work. The 24/7 support is there. Then agile development is there. Virtualize and the dynamic platform is there. Pay as you use means not necessary like a mobile bill. If I talk or I use for the 1 hour in a month, then I need to pay only for that. It is like that. The utility based time sharing model. Utility based means again wherever it is required and you are paying for that, only that much you need to use and the pay. The time sharing model, you can share the time using that particular model. Then low total cost ownership. Again, the total cost will be reduced because public is using. Public means the huge amount of people and all. So that is a very cheap and you can use cost effective manner. These are again some benefit: on-demand self-service, broad network access, location and device independent, the resource pooling multi-tenant, rapid elasticity, measured service, lower cost, then easy for utilization, reliability, then outsource IT management is very simple, simplified maintenance and the upgradation, low barrier to entry, improve performance, instant software support, platform independent, backup and recovery facilities there, then performance and scalability is there, then increased storage capacity is also you will be getting it, then increased data safety, unlimited storage capacity, offer the advanced online security, then web-based control and the interfaces are there, API access available, and the quality of service. These are the very good point for the cloud computing, and because of that, it is very popular nowadays. There are a lot many advantages. 2, 3 disadvantages are also there. Not suitable for the small organization. If you want to set up your own cloud, so you need to prepare the infrastructure. If your organization is very small, then it is not suitable. More customization required for the setup and configuration. Not suitable for the large amount of data transfer because the bandwidth problem is there. Lower bandwidth, then downtime or the internet connectivity is not there, then you cannot use it. Performance can vary because of the internet connectivity, speed and other issues are there. Lack of technical support, then major issue with the privacy and the security. This is the major issue, and that's why today we are going to discuss about the forensic. Now, where the internet is in the picture when we are discussing the cloud computing. Actually, internet is a media though which provides the cloud facility. The cloud facility is there. We are having the internet, and the all cloud facility you can fetch using the internet. Internet offers the abstraction, runs using the some set of protocol and the standard, use of the some application with the operating system, and there are services are there in the internet. So as past as I will be discussing these services, and above that, the internet is the media. Now cloud models are there. It is the division or the classification of the cloud model. NIST, that is the standardization of the cloud model. If I set up a cloud, so I need to standardize that particular cloud, and the NIST helps that. The cloud cube model is also there for the physical location of the data, ownership and the security boundary and the sourcing. This is the another model, but we are going to discuss about the deployment model and the service model. Deployment means at the time of setting of the cloud. This refers the location of the management of the cloud infrastructure. According to the location and the crowd, means if we are setting the public, it is open for everyone. If it is you are setting for the private, that means it is for the limited use, means only one organization or the group of organization can use. It is a private or owned by that particular organization. Then hybrid cloud, that is the combination of public and the private. Some part is the public and some part is the private one. Community cloud. Community cloud means this is set up for a one particular community. For example, engineering domain. So all cloud resources and everything will be available for the engineering domain. Service model, it consists of a particular type of the services, and that can be the IaaS, PaaS and the SaaS. IaaS means infrastructure as a service, PaaS means platform as a service, and the SaaS means services as a service. Okay, software as a service. This is the NIST model. NIST is the standard technology for set of working the definition and the separate cloud computing into the service model and the deployment model. These models and their relationship are shown in this figure. There are all services. These are the deployment model, and these are the service model. Software as a service, platform and the infrastructure, private, community and the hybrid and the public cloud. Now this is the complete picture of the NIST cloud definition. There are 4 categories. One is the deployment model, just now I told you. Then service model, IaaS, PaaS and SaaS. Then essential characteristics. This should be implemented before using that cloud or before giving to that particular cloud for the public, like a broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measure services. These are the characteristics, and it should be included in that particular cloud. Common characteristics are, there are a lot many are there, like a virtualization should be there, geo-specific distribution, service oriented, advanced security features should be there, and so on. Now this is the deployment model. It defines the purpose of the cloud and that the nature of how the cloud is located, for whom it is going to use, and how you are going to set up. Private is only for some organization, community for a particular group of people. Hybrid is a combination of the private, community as well as the public, and the public cloud means it is open for everyone. It defines the purpose of the cloud and the nature of how the cloud is located. NIST defined the deployment model as follows, like a public, private, hybrid and the community. This is the all about the public model. Public model means a compute services should be there, application services should be there, platform should be available to the public for development, and measuring service means whatever you are using from that particular model, there should be a billing. Public cloud infrastructure is available for the public use alternately for the large industry group. Public cloud allows the system and the services to be easily accessible to the general public. It is owned by the organization selling the cloud services. Public cloud may be less secure because of the openness. And the IT giant such as the Google, Amazon, Microsoft is offering the services for the as a public cloud through internet. Now, some benefits are there like the cost effective, reliability, flexible. Reliability means the public is there, public resources are there. These are multiple copies are available. And because of that, if particular one resource is a failure, then you can access the another one. Location independent, from anywhere you can use. Utility style costing, and the high scalability. High scalability means suppose I want 10 pieces now. Afterward, suppose I want the 20. So today I will pay only for the 10. Tomorrow I may pay for the 20, like that. Some disadvantage like low security because it is a public domain. That's why security issues there, and less customizable. If the cloud is providing by some organization, so it is not suitable for a particular one person. It is for the common. So customization should be there. This is the private cloud. In the private cloud, we are focusing for a particular group of people only, not all. The private cloud allows the system and the services to be accessible within an organization. It is operated for the exclusive use of an organization, managed by that organization or the third party, may be either or on off premises, or the off premises. It is more secure because it is a private in nature. So restricted area is there, that's why security is more. Then private cloud advantages, high security and the privacy is there. Then more control is there because it is for only for a particular group of people. Cost and energy effectivity is there, and because of that efficiency, you can use that particular cloud. Not to link with the public, only private wherever it is required. Restricted area of operation, definitely it is a private. You need to follow the rules and regulation for that group of people. Those are offering for that particular private cloud. Limited scalability and the additional skills required to maintain deployment, and the organization require the skill expertise to use that particular private cloud. Then hybrid, again it is a combination of all. The cloud is there, public facilities also there, private facilities there. That is called the hybrid. It is a mixture of public and the private cloud in which the critical activities are performed. It combines the multiple clouds, private, community, as well as the public. Non-critical activities you can perform there. These clouds retain their unique identities and are bound together as a unit. It offers the standardization of property access to data and the application probability, as well as the portability. Then hybrid benefits are scalable, flexible, and the cost effective. Again, the security is there because some part we are using in the public domain, but maximum part you are using in the private domain. That's why you can enforce the better security. Some disadvantage, networking issue, because we are connecting both. That's why there is a networking issue. Security problem may happen. Infrastructure dependency because it is a combination of the private as well as the public one. Then community, as I told you, allow the system and the services to be accessible by the group of organization. They share the infrastructure between the several organizations from the specific community. That is very, very important. In this cloud has been organized to serve the common function or the purpose. And it may be for the one or the several organization, and it shares the common mission policy, security, regulatory compliances, etc. It is managed and constituted by the organization or the third party. So this is the community. The benefit is again the same, like the cost effectiveness, sharing among the organization, security. Some issues are there related to the specific challenges and all. And because of that challenges, we are having the scope of defining this cloud for a different domain. Now this is the service model. Service model is divided into the three parts: infrastructure, platform, and the application. Infrastructure, we call it as a IaaS. Platform, we call it as a PaaS, and the application, that is the SaaS. SaaS means the software as a service. Operating environment, largely irrelevant, fully functional application provided by the CRM and the ERP, email like these services. Then platform as a service, operating environment include, for example, Windows platform, .NET, development platform, Linux, and the other Java and all platforms are available in the past. Infrastructure, the complete virtual platform on which the required operating environment and the application are deployed, includes the storage as the service which is offering under the IaaS only. Here, some part client has to manage and the some part provider, means the service provider will offer you. In the IaaS, the service provider manage all the infrastructure like the virtual machine, storage, infrastructure, and the other hardware. In PaaS, it provides the virtual machine operating system and enabling software application services and development framework and all control structure. In the SaaS, operating environment with application, manage and the user interface. The application is provided to the client through the browser only. And what is the client responsibility in the IaaS? Client is responsible for all other aspects for the deployment, including operating system, application, and the user interfaces within the system. The client can deploy its application to use the application and the tools supported by the PaaS environment or the service provider. And in the SaaS, client is responsible to begin and end with entering and managing the data and the user interaction. Some vendors, these are very popular cloud vendors, those are providing the facility in terms of all services like IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, like Alibaba, then Amazon, AT&T, Cisco, Sigma, Dell, DigitalOcean, Google, IBM, then Zen, VMware, Oracle, OpenNebula, Microsoft, and Salesforce. Lot many vendors are there. These are only limited vendors I have listed over here, but there are lot many vendors are there, and you can read the policy matters from their particular site, and then you can subscribe for the cloud. Now, digital forensic, this is about the cloud. Now, what is the need of digital forensic in the cloud environment? NIST defines the initial forensic as applied science for the identification, collection, examination, and analysis of data while preserving the integrity of information and maintaining the strict chain of custody for the data. There are major 4 parts like identification, then collection, then examination, and the presentation. After that, you will be getting the complete report of the forensic wherever it is happening, and then you can take care of that. The cloud forensic, how it is the special one. The cloud forensic is considered a subset of the network forensic because cloud is a one part or one aspect with the network. Cloud forensic can be defined as applying all the process of the digital forensic in the cloud environment. Cloud forensic also includes investigating file system, process, cache, and the registry history. Then cloud forensic can have the 3 dimensions. One is organizational, address to the structure of that particular cloud. Legal aspect, cover the service agreement, and the other jurisdictional matter. And the technical aspect, deal with the procedure and the specialized application designed to the platform forensic recovery and analysis in the cloud. So it is very, very clear cut is there, and according to that particular definition and the dimension, we can focus for that particular forensic. So many tools are available. The forensic tool capabilities needed to handle the acquiring data from the cloud. We need to use the tool such a way so that you can collect or abstract the data from the cloud wherever some problem is there. The forensic data and the collection must be able to identify, label, record, and acquire the data from the cloud. Then elastic, static, and the live forensic must be able to expand the contact their storage capability. You need to use the storage for all storing the data. Then you need to check the evidences, evidence segregation. The different business and the user share the same application and the storage space. After that, investigation in virtualized environment, because cloud is a totally virtualized environment, should have the capability to examine the virtual system. Now, how it is special in the digital forensic or the cloud environment? The different steps for the digital forensic vary according to the service and deployment model of the cloud computing. For example, the evidence collection procedure of SaaS and the AS will be totally different. For SaaS, we solely depend upon the cloud service provider to get the application logged because it is not with us. In us, we can acquire the virtual machine image from the customer and can initiate the examination and analysis phase. In the public deployment model, we rarely can get the physical access to the evidence, but this is guaranteed in the public, in the private cloud deployment model, because private means it is owned by us only, so we can get the evidences. Now here again it is very, very clear cut definition. When we are getting the access control, this is limited to the SaaS environment only. Application pass, in the pass environment we are getting the access control as well as the application. In the AS environment, we are getting access, application, data, and the OS. The complete we are getting. And the complete model is the network and the services. Now, cloud forensic is a combination of digital forensic, network and internet forensic, and cloud computing. And together, we are getting the cloud forensic. What are the complications are there? The storage system is not local. That is the first thing. The law enforcement agent cannot remove the suspect computer and get access to the digital evidences. In the cloud, each server contains file from many users. Hence, it is not feasible to seize the server from a data center. The data belonging to the particular suspect is identified. Separating it from others user data is very, very difficult because it is a combination of all user. You cannot separate out totally different for only one user. Now some challenges: availability of the log. Just now I defined it. SaaS may get the different logs and the PaaS you will get the different one because SaaS is the service provider. AS is it's our own infrastructure. That's why getting the log is totally different. In traditional computer forensic investigation, have the full control over the evidences like the router log, process log, hard disk, and all these things. But in the cloud, the control over the data varies in the different service model. The control of the customer is a different layer for the three different service model: AS, PaaS, and the SaaS. Cloud user have the highest control in the AS and the least control in the SaaS. In the SaaS, customer do not get the log for their system unless the cloud service provider provides the log. In PaaS, it is only possible to get application log from the customer to get the network log, database log, or the operating system log. We need to depend on the cloud service provider. In us, customer can only get the operating system log and they do not have the access to the network or the process log. These are the limitation, and because of that limitation, it is very challenging. Then rigor responsibility. Cloud computing is a multi-tenant system, while traditional computing is a single owner system. In the cloud, multiple virtual machines can share the same physical infrastructure. That is, the data for multiple customers can be co-located. In this case, the investigator need to prove the court that the provided evidences actually belong to the suspects. But in traditional computing or the computing system, the suspect is solely responsible for all the digital evidences located in his or her computing system. Moreover, in the cloud, we need to pursue the privacy for other tenant also, because it is a multi-tenancy characteristic is there. And the novel side channel attack, these are very difficult to investigate. VM instances. The data residents in the VM are volatile, and it is difficult to preserve the VM data by storing an image to the VM instance. An attacker can exploit this vulnerability after doing some malicious activity like launching of DOS attack, send the spam email, and all these things. An advisory, sorry, and adversely can terminate the VM, and that will lead to the complete loss of the evidence and make the forensic investigation almost impossible. In the absence of any evidence, it will be difficult to prove the claim or as a false via the forensic investigation. These are the very challenging tasks. Chain of custody means the complete chain should be there, then only you will get the evidences. The chain of custody is one of the most vital issue in traditional digital forensic investigation. Chain of custody should clearly illustrate how the evidence was collected, analyzed, and preserved in order to present as a admissible evidence in the court. In traditional forensic procedure, it is trivial to maintain an access history of that particular time, location, and the person to access the computer, hard disk, and of a suspect. On the other hand, in the cloud, we do not even know when the VM is physically located. Also, investigator can acquire a VM image from any workstation connected with the internet. The investigator location and the VM's physical location can be in a different time zone. Hence, maintaining the proper chain of custody is very, very challenging in the cloud. The cloud evidence by the cloud service provider. Currently, investigators are completely depend on the providers for acquiring cloud evidences. However, the employee of the cloud provider who collect the data on the behalf of investigator is most likely not a licensed forensic investigator, and it is not possible to guarantee his integrity in the court of law, because investigator is another person and the cloud expert is another person. Even the provider provides the valid evidence to investigate this. His dishonest investigator can remove some crucial evidence before presenting it to the court, or can provide some fake evidences to the court to fame of the honest cloud user. Now, how to set up a cloud forensic environment, or how to set up that cloud environment for investigating the forensic characteristics. The cloud provider must provide the continuous synchronization API to customer to preserve the synchronized data to any cloud, include network log, operating system, and registry log. The cloud provider need to ensure the integrity of evidence in order to prevent the collision between the provider, investigator, and the cloud user. The provider need to provide proper chain of custody information. A secure provenance scheme should be available. The provider must play a vital role in this step by providing the web-based management console or providing the secure API to law enforcement agencies. Cloud service provider and the third party shall offer encryption like services for cloud service as a security measure. This is also a very, very important thing. Cloud provider may be anywhere in the world. The regulation would help if they require the cloud service provider to retain and provide the data to investigator. Service legal agreement may cover the digital evidences collection and the preservation. So this is the basic requirement for forensic. Now how to investigate. The investigator should ask the following question and understand the how provider setup is there. For the e-discovery, demand the multi-tenant cloud system. Is the data to collect from the other cloud customer and unrelated data? Is there a way to separate the data to prevent volatile privacy right for confidentiality agreement? Is the data of interest to the investigation local or remote? If it is in a remote location, can the service provider provide that sound and collection of it? That it should be the provider, it is a responsibility of the provider. If the cloud customer does not have the provider's application installed, then you might find the cloud related evidences in the web browser cache. You can get it from there also. If the provider application is installed, then you can find evidences of the file transfer in the application folder, usually found under the user's account folder. 3 widely cloud services are available to store all the evidences and the data. Number 1 is the Dropbox, second is the Google Drive, and the OneDrive. I will be explaining that. These applications have the registry entry, and the user must maintain the control over the access to the cloud account. First, you need to create an account, and then only you will get the services. The Dropbox allows the uploaded and transfer the file to the cloud and share them with anyone. Dropbox saves all the deleted file for some amount of time. When someone is deleting the files, then you can get it from the Dropbox. Backup photos, video, docs, and the other file to the cloud storage, and the access file synchronize with any of your computer or the mobile from anywhere and with the advanced sharing features. It is easy to send large or the small files to the friends, family, and the co-worker. This is a very good facility, means you can use the Dropbox to store your data, evidences, and all these things. In future, you may get it useful for finding the forensic issue. Second is Google Drive. It is very, very popular. Nowadays, we store all the files in the drive. Then you can access these files anywhere and everywhere. The Google Drive is the safe place for all your files that puts them within reach from any smartphone, tablet, or the computer. Files in the drive such as your video, photo, and the document are backup safely so that you can access anytime and it won't lose it. Once kept there, you can easily invite others to view your file. You can give the access for editing, or you can leave the comment of any other your file or the folder. Third one is the OneDrive. Again, this is also a storage facility, and this storage facility is given by the Microsoft OneDrive. OneDrive is the one place for everything in your personal work as well as the official work. It gives you free online storage with the all personal file, so you can get to them from your Android device also, computer, Mac device, anywhere you can use from these devices. With the OneDrive or the business, you also get the storage for your work file so you can share and collaborate on them with other people at your work. The OneDrive app for the Android lets you easily work with your personal and the work files. Then you are at outside of that office or you are in tour. There are lot many tools are available. I will be covering two tools and one complete demo of one tool. The digital network and the e-discovery tool can be combined to collect and analyze the cloud data. Some vendor are there like a guidance software, that is in-case discovery, access data, then F response and the pro discover incidents. These are the softwares are available and you can download and then you can use for the forensic purpose. That is the forensic OpenStack tool, and it integrates with the OpenStack running in AS cloud environment. It adds the forensic response capability for the provider. OpenStack, an open source computing platform, indeed a public and the private cloud services. This particular tool is the first known effort to provide the forensic response process for the cloud service. A feature for that bypass the VM hypervisor. This is a very good feature. Then gives the application programming interface that allow the reconfiguring the cloud on, on the fly. The special malware can take control to the virtual session and deny and modify the access. Prevent the interface for forensic analysis and the data collection. Second tool is F-Response is a remote access tool and that can be applied to the cloud forensic. Uses USB forwarding technique to allow the non-remote capabilities for the forensic tool to access the remote server and their data storage. Two tools are also needed for complete forensic investigation, F-Response, and the second one is Kernel Pro. So using this tool, you can do the complete forensic investigation. There are lot many tools are available. I have searched and many more tools are available and these are their sites are there. Many are open source. You can use it in free. Okay, so you can download it and then you can use it. If you have any question, this is my contact details. Please note down the contact detail and you can contact me for any question. Thank you so much for the patience listening, and afterward I will be covering the demo for one tool, how to use that particular tool. You can check it so that you can find out. Welcome participants. Now we are going to cover the demonstration of one particular tool which is useful for the forensic investigation and especially for the cloud forensic investigation. Just now we have already completed what do you mean by cloud, what do you mean by forensic, and how it is challenging field in the cloud computing, investigation in the cloud computing. So many tools are available. I have given you the list also, and one particular tool I will be covering so that you can do your own investigation. The autopsy is the tool, and that tool gives you the good result. You can download. This is the free open source software and it is used by the law enforcement, the military purpose and the corporate examinations to the investigate what happening in your computer. And you can use that, you can find out this virtual machine and everything, you can check it. And this is the registered software and you can use it. Now very beginning step, this is the site for the installation. It is a freely available. You can download it, then run the setup. If you are using the Windows, then you can download the file for the Windows, or according to your OS, you can download it. Then you select the appropriate path where you want to download. Then view the autopsy icon on the desktop. You will get the icon on the desktop. Just now I will tell you how you can locate it, and then you can create one folder. That particular folder is for storing all the report. I have already created first demo folder, and you can check it. The reports are available. There are only 5 steps. Create a case. Create a case means for the new investigation, you can create a case. The case is container for the one or more data sources. One must be created before data is analyzed. Then you can add the data source. Data source adding means where you want to check it. Suppose you want to check the folder, then VM, then complete machine or a file and all these things. Logical file, you can check it. Then analyze and investigate the module. That particular module will be running at the background. Means no need to do anything to you. User will just check it whether it is running or not, because the tool is having a facility to work it. Then manual analysis, you can check it whether the report is generated and the file is created or not. And finally, generation of the report. Now, I will be giving you the first steps, and after completing the steps, I will giving you the actual demonstration. Now, first you go to the new case. When you will open that particular tool, the front page will be like that, and you use the new case. After selection of the new case, then you have to add one particular folder. So I am giving the case name as a case name July 10. Yesterday I have created July 10. You have to identify what is the directory for storing that, and in my PC the directory name is the first demo. Then single user or multi-user, that you can select it. At present I'm using the single user. And finally then you can check the complete directory path. After that you click on the next. Then it will ask you the who is the investigator. You give the details about the investigator so that if there are more cases, you can identify case by case who is the investigator. And finally you do the finish one. After that, it will take you for the step number 2. What is the step number 2? Add the source data. So I have taken the logical files. You can take the VM also, you can take the disks, and anything you can take it. I have taken the logical file. Then you go to the next. Then you add the file into that particular box. So you go for the browse and add, browse, and then you can add into that particular box. So you can select what are the files you want, you can select it, and then finally you add it. After adding that particular file, you will get the masses successfully added. Then this added, what are the category of the report, what are the parameter you want to set. If I select all parameter, it will check the report according to the parameter. If you want the limited parameter, you can select the limited parameter. Then data is successfully added. I have getting the message. Then click on finish. This is the step number 2 you have completed. Now third step, analyze the data that I told you. In the background, it will complete its own, means tool will take care of that. Just you will see that particular tool, logical file set 1. This is included in your box, and it is doing the analysis on that particular file. So it is checking. The next step will be module analysis. Now I want to store that. I will be taking the HTML report, and because of that, I want a header and the footer. Just give the header name and the footer name. I have given my first forensic report and the footer name June 10, 2020. Then you go to the next one. Then all report I want, you can take whatever you want as per your choice, and then say finish. After finishing, report file is generated. Now report is ready. After getting the report, if you want to view that report, you go to the report section, view generated report. It is a HTML file, and that's why it is opening in a browser, and that report is ready. It is so simple, and the complete report is ready with you, and then you can find out the analysis, or you can give this report to any person who is expert in the forensic, and then that particular person will give you the suggestion. According to that, you can follow it. Now I'll be giving you the demo, and after demo, then you can check your own. If you are having any question, then you can ask me. Thank you for that. Now I'm taking you to the demo. You go to the desktop. On the desktop, there is icon. Laptop C. This is the software I have already installed. You can open that. Now software is open. Software is open. Now you can select the new case. In that new case, I want to give the name for the new case. New demo. Suppose I am giving the name new demo. Today is 11 June. Then I will be sharing the same folder, that is the first demo, single user. Then I will be checking the path. The complete path is available with the 11 June. Then next, directory does not exist, create a new one. Yes. Now, number of that particular case, today is 11 June. That's why I am taking the number as 11 June. Name is Urmila Shravankar. That is the phone number. And the email notes. This is the sample demo. Then finish. That is for creation of a new case. Step 1 is completed. Now the second step is adding the data source. I'm taking the logical file because in my laptop the VM is not installed. You can take that local disk also, but it will take time. That's why I'm taking just logical files. What are the logical file you want? Just press add. Suppose I'm taking the webcam log or Samsung. Okay, Samsung kite, and this one backup. Select. If you want to add some more file, you can add. Otherwise, go to the next. Then after next, all type directly and the unallocated space. It will check everything. And these are the parameter. What are the parameter you want to check? Configure for the ingest the models. So this is the configuration. I have selected all and just press next. Data source is successfully added. I got a message. Now what I need to do? I need to analyze this. Analyze, it will take care of that particular tool will take care of this. Then I need to go for the generate report. This file is available, then generate report. Click on generate report. My first report, this is forensic report. I will put a date. Forensic report demo, that is 11 June, and then footer 11 June. Okay, then next, all result you want or you want the specific tag result. I will take all result and just press finish. Your report is ready. And what is the file name of your report? In your folder, whatever the folder you have done, and this is the report. Just click on that because it is the HTML file, and that HTML file, it will open that. This is the complete report. Now you can take this report to any forensic expert That forensic expert will analyze that report and you will get the details about the report. Okay, so this is the complete procedure for analysis of that particular case study. So this, I hope you enjoyed that and you will be doing your own. If you are having any question, you can take my contact details and you can convey me your question. Definitely I will answer your question. Thank you so much for the patience listening, as well as whatever you want the difficulty, whatever the solution you want, any difficulty, you can contact me. Thank you so much.
Good morning, one and all. I am honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks of this event. First of all, I am very much thankful to Honorable Dr. Subhasji Bobde, President, Vidarbha Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Khamgaon, to give us opportunity to organize this 2 days online workshop on cyber security and digital forensics. I would like to thank our principal, Dr. D.S. Talvankar sir, inaugurator of this 2 days online workshop. I would like to thank Dr. V.M. Thakre sir, Professor and Head, PG Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Sant Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Amravati, to give us valuable knowledge about cyber security as a keynote address. I would like to thank today's invited speaker, Dr. Urmila Shravankar, Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, G.H. Rai Soni College of Engineering, Nagpur, for her invited talk on forensics in cloud using Autospy. The way in which she explained this topic was extraordinary. I must not forget to thank the participants of this workshop who make this workshop grand success. Finally, I would like to thank all the honorable members of Vidarbha Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Khamgaon. I would like to thank all those organizing teams, teachers and staff members. At last, I would like to thank you again for making this event success. Thank you very much. Have a good day.